episode 112.
Are you ready to take your eBay business to the next level? Then hold on, because Ron and Ali are going to take you into the fast lane with the latest tips and insights from some of the biggest and most successful sellers here on the So You Wanna Sell on eBay podcast.
Welcome once again to another episode of So You Want to Sell on eBay. I'm Ron LeBeau.
And I'm Ali Young.
Hey, everyone. We have with us today Keith Ritchie. Keith, how you doing today?
Fantastic, gentlemen. Thank you for having me on.
Good, good. Ali, how you doing in Thailand there, brother?
He just called me a gentleman. I've never been called a gentleman before. That's awesome. That's a nice way to start a podcast. He's softening us up at the beginning there, Ron.
Maybe he is. All right, cool. So, hey, Keith is a former factory worker turned professional dropshipper, and he's been dropshipping on eBay for full time since 2014. He employs virtual assistants to make his life easier and enjoys learning new skills and traveling. He also enjoys teaching others how to make a living online through e-commerce.
Oh, I love that. Love a bit of traveling, do you there, Keith?
I do. I don't do it enough, but I really love getting away.
And so you're employing virtual assistants, yeah, to help you along with this gig of yours, yeah?
Yes, I tell you, my business grew leaps and bounds when I started doing that.
Well, cool. Let's start at the very beginning. I mean, there's a lot of people listening right now that might not even know what dropshipping is. So let's define that for them so they have an idea what we're going to be talking about in this episode.
Okay, so dropshipping is simply taking a product from one store or one vendor and placing it on a marketplace or a website for sale at a markup.
Okay, so you're actually taking somebody else's product. You're not actually physically taking it, but you're actually taking, the image and the details and the description and the price, and you're putting it on your website, your marketplace, whatever it is, and then you're selling it. When you sell it, then you're going out to the manufacturer or the wholesaler or wherever you're getting it from, and then you never actually touch the product, right? Right.
Yeah. Ideally, that's the whole deal.
Yeah, that's all. So I'll tell you what, we got lots and lots of questions to this because I know people who've done it. Myself and Ron have done it as well, and we have run into a few little technical difficulties along the way. One being the main thing I think was for us, Ron, was the competitive priceness. So here's this guy. He's selling it for some weird, bizarre, very, very cheap price, and we're only allowed to sell it for that price. Do you sort of run into that sort of thing along the way?
With wholesale, yes, I have in the past. And you'll find good wholesale companies that will actually police their map pricing, and you'll find some that just don't care. And those are the ones you just eventually have to get rid of.
Yeah, and you mentioned map pricing. That's minimum advertised pricing for anyone out there that don't really know. And what it does is it allows Keith and I to be able to sell at the same price, right? So if Keith has $1 million that he can buy in product, then he actually could afford to sell it for 25 cents, where I'm, actually striving to just try and make a business, and I have to sell it for $2.50, whatever the price is. So the map pricing kind of keeps us on the same playing field. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. I like a map price with wholesale, as long as there's profit. I've seen map pricing to where you can't make a profit, so it's not worth your time. But yeah, it levels the playing field.
So how quickly do you find that the wholesaler is playing right? I mean, does it take a little while to figure that out, or are you pretty quickly?
You'll give them a couple times, right? So when I was heavy into wholesale, I'm not real heavy into it now, but when I was, I would make a phone call. I would look, right? I would monitor the competitors' prices. And if someone was breaking map, I would make a phone call and say, hey, this guy's selling it, so far under the map, and see what they're going to do,
Right. And
after 2 or 3 times, if they don't do something, that's pretty much it for me. I'm not going to spend money,
Yeah, I'm out of here. Later's Jack. Yeah.
Right.
There's too many other fish in the sea, right? I mean, Yeah, that's awesome. So tell us a little bit about that. I mean, how does somebody get into something like this?
Wholesale's a little more involved. They want to see that you're a legitimate business. They want to see that you're not another mom and pop shop per se. You can still land accounts like that. But so when I first started, I rented a virtual address, right? So when wholesalers would Google my company address, it would come up this big, beautiful building. When in all reality, I was
nice.
Yeah. I rented an 800 number. I rented a professional business email, the whole 9 yards. So they thought that I was a big business when I was in my living room. And that's how it had to be.
I like that.
Yeah. So, you need different, here we needed a vendor's license, different licenses, stuff like that. So it's a little more involved.
Okay,
that's not hard to get into.
That sounds a little bit on the complicated side. Not that it's not worth it. It's just on the deeper end side of things. So let's talk about the drop shipping. I guess that's the easier side, right? I mean, if somebody wanted to get into something fairly quick and easy, I mean, they could probably do something like drop shipping, yeah? Yeah,
it is. It's a smaller barrier to entry. You need to know what you're doing. It's not something to dive in and not, have some direction. You can get in trouble really quick, right? Selling out of stock items, underpriced items, all that stuff. So if you have a solid system or a solid guideline to follow, you'll be in good hands, good shape.
And I imagine a lot of that's research. So you're looking at this, maybe electronics or whatever you're deciding to sell, and you're researching, can you actually make money, let's say, on eBay with it?
The good thing about eBay, yeah, you're right, Ollie. You're not necessarily competing on price sometimes. You can change up keywords, your images. You can do other things your competitors aren't to drive those buyers to your listings.
And would you do that? Would you buy one of the items and then take your own pictures just to make it look a little bit different, or you just generally use the stock images that come with it?
You can do either, but generally I would just take the stock images, I would resize them, maybe crop them, maybe do different things, to make my stuff stand out and search more.
Lovely.
Very cool. And you've been doing it since 2014 full time?
Full time, yes.
What did you do before this?
Oh, the dreaded factory.
Did you hear the siren? Wow, I got to hear this one. Before
because I was in factory work a while too, so I wanted to hear this side of things.
Yeah, so it was most of my adult life. That's where I've been, right? Working 6-7 days a week in factories, punching the time clock, and 2008 came. Before that, you could get as much overtime as you wanted, and then you were lucky to get 40 hours, and they were looking for reasons to fire you. So initially, for me and a lot of other people, it was for the stability, right?
Right.
Yep.
And there came the Great Recession, and boom, that was done. And I didn't really like it anyway. I've always been one to look for different ways, for ways out, right? An entrepreneurial spirit.
Yep.
And so ultimately stumbled across this, and when I decided to go full time, that was it.
And that's actually a good thing then. So it ended up working out good for you.
It did. It was a blessing in disguise. It's what hurt initially. One of the failure parts. I started it. I found out how it worked. And it was in the heart of Q4, late November, early December, and everything was selling. And so I thought, man, this is easy money. And so after Christmas in mid-July or January, it really came to a screeching halt. I'm still making a sale here and there, but I wasn't looking at it like a business like I should have been,
So it was more of a hobby then, is what it sounded like.
It was a neat little hobby, It's just, So I started seeing results, different people doing it full time on Facebook, and I would just reach out and, hey, what are you doing? How can, is there any way you can give me a tip? Things like that. And it slowly started.
So at what point were you able to say, okay, I can really do this full time and I can actually quit my job? I mean, what had to happen? I mean, because obviously it has to be more than just the money coming in, right? I mean, it had to be several factors, right?
Well, I took this job out of desperation. It was a big pay cut, but I had to pay the bills, right? And I started as a temp somewhere and was doing this job. But the whole time I'm doing this job, I'm listening to this, a podcast or an audio or something to feed my mind, right?
Right.
To help with my beliefs and stuff like that. And anyway, I'm selling on eBay and working at the same time, but I'm trying to get it built enough, to quit, to replace that income. And I remember sitting in there one day or standing in there, and I made an $80 profit on a sale or something like that. And I'm like, that's almost my entire day's wage right here, one sale.
Yep.
And I got to where I'd go home. Yeah, I got to where I'd go home and just hard at it, right? Every day, hard at it. And while I'm at work, I'm thinking, how can I improve this? How can I get more sales? So it was planning. And over time, I quit. That was it. And it's worked out. So never going back.
let's talk about that day that you quit, because man, there are
Party
so
time.
many out here. There's so many of us out here. I still have a job. I still work for. I still have a job. I mean, and there's so many of us out there. Tell us about that day. I mean, was it? Did you plan this? Did you give the 2 weeks notice? Did you just drop the bomb? How did it go for you?
No, it was awkward. It was very awkward.
Weirdness.
The guy in charge, he was kind of a really kind of a feisty guy, right? And I'm like trying to do my thing, get the production and this, that, and the other. And he was more, I don't know, kind of got on my nerves, Mm-hmm. And one day,
Oh, this is good to be good.
he did something, and I said, I think I quit. And I'm like, and I kind of like, oh.
I should have said that. No, I should have said it.
And he looked at me, and I'm thinking, man, there's nothing I could do. Once you say it, it's done, right?
Yep.
And he looked at me, you sure? I'm like, yeah. And I finished out that day, and that was it.
Wow, it's awesome. That's awesome. He's still working there, and you're now making good money.
Yeah, I'm sure he's still there. I'm sure he's still there. If he loves it, hey, but I just didn't. It wasn't for me.
Right. No, I get that. That's the dream. I mean, seriously, a lot of people are working for other people, having the same dream that you have. But I don't know if it's always going to happen the way you did it. I kind of quit, I quit, I think. Wow, that's pretty powerful.
But we've interviewed so many people on this show who have had the same thing. They've had a corporate job, they've worked for a job, and they thought, you know what, I'm done. I'm just, maybe not as nuts as the way you did it, but hey, whatever it gets you to that end result. And look how good you're doing. Sometimes you got to take that leap of faith. You know what? This is going to work.
Exactly
I'm going to make it work.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. Leap of faith. I praise God every day that I have this freedom.
Any regrets?
None. No, yes. Actually, yes. That I didn't do it years before.
There you go. Wow, you got me on that one.
Should have done it at the age of 18. So let's get back to the dropshipping thing, because this is an intriguing thing. Because people sometimes struggle finding products. I know in America you got a lot of these thrifting things, which sounds awesome. But another thing that I heard about dropshipping is, how do you control the feedback part if you're not the person who's necessarily sending it out? So you really got to make sure that your dropshippers bang on in getting that stuff out quick, because otherwise it comes back to you, doesn't it?
Yeah. You get a feel, right, for each supplier, like for how soon they can deliver, okay? So you'll put in your listing however many days handling time. So 2 days, 1 day, 3 days, 4 days, or up to 5 days. And if the buyer messages you about it, have excellent customer service, be happy to help, happy to answer any questions. There's really no way of controlling. There's just a way of handling, right?
Yep.
You learn how to handle customers. Even if they come out of the gate like a real jerk, don't snap back, right?
Right.
Apologize. Even though it's not your fault, even though you did everything you could, apologize. Say, I'm sorry for your inconvenience. We're doing the best we can. Lay it on thick. Kill them with kindness, and that helps.
I'm hearing a common theme here, Ali. I mean, we hear this all the time about the power of feedback. I mean, seriously, it's your livelihood, and your livelihood is based on that positive feedback.
We just actually got a negative today, and it was a product review. The customer bought a product back 5 or 6 months ago, said they didn't like it, and that's basically all they said. I called eBay, talked to 2 different people, and they removed it. So,
okay.
Yeah, there's seller feedback and product feedback. So if you can show, hey, this shouldn't be here, then they'll remove it.
That's brilliant.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. I mean, I know eBay has really worked really hard, especially in the last couple of years, to kind of make it a great place to be, and for sellers and buyers. And I know there's there's some things that they're working on to improve as well, but they are definitely working in the right direction for both the seller and the buyer.
I'm seeing it night and day. I mean, it's getting better and better and better, and I like that. I like the trend.
Yeah. That's really cool.
So what's this? I've heard of this thing called easy drop shipping. So if you go to sellyouvannasell.ebay.com/easy drop, this is your company, is it? Have you created a drop shipping thing? Have you?
Yes, it's actually my course. I worked very, very hard on it. It was exhausting creating all the videos, the video editing, stuff like that. But what it is, this type of drop shipping, it's drop shipping from online stores. It's not wholesale accounts. It's places like Overstock, right? I show how to find hot items that are already selling and make them better. ultimately. I show my system. I use different tools to list, different tools for repricing and inventory, teach outsourcing, the whole 9 yards. It's in there and it's constantly being updated. So,
wow,
yeah.
I'm looking on your website now and I see $100,000 in a 60-day total. That's incredible, man. That's really cool. First of all, kudos to you for being able to do that. Secondly, for creating a system that will allow others to do it as well. That's pretty cool. I like to see those numbers. That's really awesome.
Ron and Ali will be right back after this short break.
Life is full of numbers. Our brains process literally hundreds of numbers and equations every hour of every day. When it comes to your business, give your brain a break as well as peace of mind that the numbers are figuring up as they should with MyCost Pro. MyCost Pro is an easy-to-use automated eBay bookkeeping program for Excel that imports sales data directly from your seller account. MyCost Pro automatically generates accounting and performance reports to show you your true bottom line profit. You can even view and edit active listing details such as price and quantity and relist unsold items directly from MyCost Pro. All you need is Excel on your Windows PC. Take control of your business and free up those long nights of crunching the numbers. Visit mycostpro.com for a 21-day no-obligation free trial using coupon code PODCAST, exclusively for So You Want to Sell on eBay podcast listeners. It's only right around the corner. Ecom Chicago 2017. Innovate, inspire, and grow. Join us October 19th through 21st in Elk Grove Village, Illinois, for the 4th annual event that focuses on e-commerce and business growth. Hear strategies from expert speakers. Learn new ideas and techniques that will help to develop your business. Speak and network with like-minded online sellers, as well as experts and mentors who will be available throughout the event, such as Jason T. Smith, Kathy Terrell, Eddie Levine, and Peter Cairns, just to name a few. The wealth of experience, knowledge, and enthusiasm is sure to be mind-blowing. Go to ecomchicago.com for more information. Sponsorship opportunities available. New this year for attendees is a pre-event vendor showcase on Thursday, October 19th, where our participating vendors will be giving live, focused demos on their product or service.
Be sure to check out SoYouWannaSellOnEBay.com for the latest podcasts and all the information you need to get selling fast.
So is that, how long would it, let's say I came into SoYouWannaSellOnEBay.com/easy drop and I went to your website here, and how long would it take me to do what you did to reach that sort of number, to reach that sort of 100,000? Is that okay for me in a year, 2 years? What would it, I know it's a hard question.
So that's a good question. I'm glad you asked, because it's different, right? So, Ali, you probably have a selling history on eBay, right? You probably have a decent sized selling limit. So everybody's different. If you're already coming in with a big selling limit, right? You've got a good account, you're rocking and rolling. It's not going to take you long. It took me, was it 90-ish, 94 days, something like that, to get to 50,000 in 31 days in sales. Mm-hmm. So it took about that. And so somebody like you would get there much faster than somebody that's brand new, because someone brand new is going to have a smaller selling limit. They're going to have little hurdles. They may have the PayPal hole, right? You don't have that.
Yep.
So to the person.
That's cool though. So let's talk to that newbie. I mean, the person that's interested in doing this. I mean, what's a reasonable number? I mean, could they easily make $500 a month? I mean, would that be a reasonable number?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Or is that low?
Did you see his face? No one else can see his face, but did you see his face? Like 500? Are you serious?
500. That's yeah. So give me a realistic number for a newbie. I mean, something that's, I mean, I know you can't be specific, but I just want to see, how far off I am.
Ron, it's honestly hard to say. You kind of stumped me on that, because everybody does it a little different. We're going to need something specific and direct. I'm kidding.
Well, you're not leaving this podcast. Give us a number, $1. Done.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it depends on how dedicated you are, right?
Okay, fair enough.
Outsource right away. Yeah. Do you how much time do you have to put into it? Stuff like that.
Fair enough. This would be a course. That's a better answer than giving us a number that that not everybody can work to.
It's got to be. So this would be a course I can come in here and I can learn from the very beginning all the way to the very end on how to do this mysterious dropshipping.
Yes, sir.
You've called me gentleman and sir in one conversation. I'm starting to really like you.
Hey, appreciate it.
That's
I'm
awesome.
starting to think he's a liar, but it's okay. I mean,
Oh, is it?
I'm kidding, Keith.
That's
we
cool.
try and have fun, but Ali, every once in a while he gets kind of out of control.
Yeah, it's the English in me. So what's your plan? So you're planning obviously to grow this. You're planning on growing a community of people who are like-minded and wanting to do this as well. Is this where you're sort of heading?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we have a private group right now for all the members of the course. There's seasoned drop shippers in there. There's brand new people in there. So we have a pretty well-rounded group. I also have another group. It's All Out E-commerce. It's on Facebook. We do all kinds of different things there, multi-channel selling, drop shipping, different things like that. That's the bigger community. But the private community is for the course members.
Well, that's pretty cool. I mean, you got to be pretty proud of your progress here. I mean, because you took, like you said, I mean, you took what you did and, what you've learned and what you created, and you created a course. And not only that, you're creating a community, right? So what's really cool, Ali, and what I like to hear is, I love it to hear, when people are doing this and they could have easily done it for themselves and just left it alone. But not only that, he's created the course. He took the time to create all the videos in the course. And now he's willing to help other people get to that same level. That's just really cool. I mean, I love to hear that. We all love to hear that. That's really cool stuff.
I appreciate that.
But that's important, isn't it? Because you've got the experience. Here you were working in a factory, doing that corporate, doing that stuff. You've come out of that, which in some sense is a miracle in itself. And now you've learned this new thing. You're making money from it, and now you're teaching people. It's what people want. I would come to someone like you because if I don't know how to do this, you figured it out. That's all this is.
A lot of it is I wanted to learn to be able to help people. To help people do what I did, get away from the grind, because that's what it is. It's a grind. It was for me, right?
Yep.
It was
absolutely
down. And so I wanted to be able to make money online. When I initially started, I didn't know anyone that was doing it. Not one person. And here we are. So
Here we are.
And you know what? The other thing about it is you're answering a question to the person who would love to start an eBay business but don't have a lot of money. Because with drop shipping, if I'm correct, and tell me if I'm wrong, I mean, really, you're not putting any money out until you make a purchase from the company, right? Until you make a sale, right?
Right. Yeah. You get paid first, then you spend the money to buy the item, and you keep the difference.
Right. That's really awesome. So it's an easy way. Okay. I'm not going to say easy because I hate using that word because it's hard work. I'm not going to say it's not easy. It's not hard work. It's hard work, but you can get in fairly cheap. And expensive, right? I mean, because your out-of-pocket expenses are low.
Oh, absolutely, yes. Yeah, that's how I was able to do it. I started with very little money, doing this, and it as long as you're dedicated, you can get results. I mean, it's plain and simple.
Definitely. And that again, we love on this show, we love to eliminate excuses. And we try to do that every episode. And one of the excuses that we're eliminating today with you, Keith, is to say, for the person who says, well, I don't have a lot of money to do that. Well, that excuse has been eliminated, really. I mean, it's pretty, you can get Keith's course fairly cheap and then get in and you learn how to do it. He systematically tells you how to do it and you can be on your way.
Exactly, and then you've got that. But the great thing also, you've got eBay where you don't actually pay, unless you've got a store, you don't actually pay any fees up front. I mean, you're only paying once items have sold and stuff. So you've really got a system in place here where you really need a limited amount of money. And we've all got enough to pay for a store, maybe $20. That's just one less cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger? Where are you buying a $20 cheeseburger, man?
I don't know, they are in Thailand, maybe over there like a buck or something, but yeah, a bit more suave out here. So this is brilliant. So I love all this stuff. I've always found the drop shipping to be so mysterious, and it just looks so competitive. But I love the way that you've sort of mastered the system. It's brilliant.
Well, a lot of people have a misconception of drop shipping, right? They've heard the horror stories. A lot of FBA people, they in different groups I'm in, they're scared to death of it. And
right.
If like I said, if you don't know what you're doing, if you get in there and start just throwing up items, and you don't know what you're doing, you're not keeping track of stock levels or price changes, you're going to get in trouble. That's how it is. But if you're doing it right, if you have a system in place, you're pretty well golden.
I will say this, Ali and I did it, a couple years ago. We actually did it for a couple of years. We sold leather products, briefcases, backpacks, tote bags, those kinds of things. And our drop shipper was actually awesome. We never, ever ran out of supplies or anything like that. The only downside that we found was they didn't like us selling on eBay. They felt like it was discounting their product. Do you find that to be a case occasionally or not? Not so much anymore.
I have, but in the wholesale realm, when I'm doing that, I'm not focused on it now, but when I am, I'll get right up front. Hey, I sell on, eBay. Is that going to be an issue? And if they say, well, we really don't want it, what you're selling on eBay, you try to come back with reasons why they should let you. And if not, just let it go and move on. There's a ton of accounts.
Yeah, that's the thing with it. And do you ever run into issues like selling, name brand stuff? So if you got into like Gucci, do you ever eBay ever stop you from doing stuff like that because of copy?
From time to time, I mean, you have the whole Vera listing. You have, different companies that don't want you listing their thing. And the best thing to do is just get all the brands, right, and do a search before you list anything, right? Search that list, the Vera list. I have other brands that, through the years that I know they don't want you selling their stuff on eBay. So
that's cool. And would you be like a store that has phones, bags, dolls' heads? I mean, would you have all that stuff in one store, or would you create separate businesses for different sort of niches?
I mean, some people do it that way. It's under one store.
It's a free for all.
Yep.
Free for all. Yes.
Yeah, come on, come to my. As is a thrift store. You don't just get jumpers. I don't call them jumpers. Sweatshirts in a thrift store, do you?
Right. And I've flirted with that idea in the past. I've just never taken the leap yet. I don't know that I will.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if what you have is working, I mean, you might want to split test it for a month just to see. But, really, if what you're doing is working, then, make it happen. That's awesome.
Absolutely. Just roll with it.
So you mentioned virtual assistant. So we've got a virtual assistant, which never, ever gets enough credit for what she does on this show, Joran. She's absolutely awesome. But you mentioned you got some virtual assistants who help. What are they helping you do with the day-to-day stuff, or?
Oh, yeah, pretty much. Product listings, they place orders. What do they do? All kinds of stuff.
What do they do? That's awesome.
What don't they do? Yeah.
Stuff that I no longer have to do. You know what I mean? That's what I know right now.
Yep, that's really cool, man. And at what point did you realize, because I'm sure you were doing a lot of the work, you were doing probably all the work, and at some point you probably just said, I've got to do something different, and went to virtual assistants. Yeah.
Yeah, it was exhausting at first. When you get up to several hundred items and you're checking all the inventory and pricing 2 times a day, it was exhausting. So I decided to outsource it, took that leap. Trained my lister, and she's been great. And you know what? One of the struggles that we had at first with our virtual assistant is we just felt like nobody can do it better than us, right? So we had that control thing, right? And man, I tell you what, Ali said it best. I mean, Joran is just amazing, and we kind of gave her some free reign, and she's doing better than we could ever do on some of the things. Doing better than us. Yeah, for sure. So. It's hard to give up that control, but man, I tell you what, if you let it swing and let it go, I mean, seriously, it can be a great thing for you. It is. It's a real mental hurdle to get over what you just said. It really is. But once you do it, man. But if you break it down to like where you're at, where you're listing 700 items and stuff, that's a lot of work. You got to list, you got to deal with the supplier, you've got to. You haven't got to ship in this particular instance, but you've got so much intensity having on. There comes a point where you just haven't got enough hours. You said you like to travel. How can you travel if you're maintaining everything? Oh, then I couldn't. I couldn't travel. But now, I've got listers, I've got people entering tracking information, I've got people doing all these different things, right? And there's still some things that, I may not necessarily let go yet, but, It's mine! I love mine! Yet. Yes. So, but what I have let go of, man, it has been such a help. Oh, my goodness. So you've sort of focused your attention on the stuff that you should be doing instead of trying to do everything. Just focus on where you're best suited, yeah? Yeah, because it doesn't necessarily pay me. It does, but it doesn't to go through all that trouble of listing when I could pay someone an hourly wage. Yep. They can do a better job and they're more focused on a particular thing, Yeah, I like that. Yep.
humbly
I've said it
admit.
many times on this show, but Jim Cochran, one of our mentors, always says, only do the things that only you can do. And it just, there are no better words to in your business to do that. Once you get to that point, only do the things that only you can do. It's just, it's just awesome. I love that quote.
I met Jim a couple years ago at CES. Yeah, he's a good guy.
He's a great guy. Yeah, absolutely.
So how does someone get involved in this course then? So they it's just a case of signing up and then you send them stuff, is it? So how does this course work?
Yeah, once they click your link and buy, they'll get an email from me with the instructions, how to create an account, how to log in, and how to join our private group.
Awesome.
And then you sort of guide them. You if they have questions, you sort of help them out because I'm sure you've seen all these questions before.
Yeah. We're guiding members as they progress through the course and have questions. Anybody's going to have questions, new or seasoned. So. And
suppliers, things like that, they can get that. You give access to suppliers, so they know how to get all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and I'm constantly, continually adding value. I want to cover as much as I can in the course, and what we don't cover there, we can answer in the group. So.
Oh, very good.
Brilliant.
Very cool. So if they go to soyouwantasell.ebay.com/easy drop, what kind of a discount are they going to get?
We've set up a $50 off discount just for you.
Very cool.
No, he said for me, Ron. No, he said for me, not for you. $50 off.
He was looking right at me, Ali.
No, he's looking at me as well. No. That's brilliant. No, that's cool. Seriously is. I love
thank you.
This really, if you think about it, you could be on a beach, and I like the terminology, supping a pina colada, but you could be on a beach, really. This is all maintaining, and you're just sort of dealing with the supplier. You could be anywhere, really. You just need internet connection. Is that correct?
Pretty much. Yeah,
nice.
Pretty much.
And for anybody out there, again, who's never heard of dropshipping or is not familiar with it, I know, and I don't know how it works for you, Keith. Maybe you can explain. But for us, I would get an email saying that, Keith Ritchie just bought this briefcase. And I would basically just forward that email on to my supplier, and they would email it. They would send it to them directly, and it looked like it came from me. It was so awesome. And the way the process worked, they thought I was actually physically shipping it to them. So it was really kind of cool.
Yeah, your customers. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask. Is that how you do it?
You take the customer's information and go place the order.
Yeah,
it's that's it. And they do think the majority of the time that you are shipping the order.
Right.
They don't.
So they don't need to know. If I'm a customer coming to your eBay store, they don't need to know that this is dropshipping. It's just like this is you selling the product. Yeah.
Yeah. I've had people in the past they'll ask me because I had a city listed on, your location. Hey, can I stop by and check this item out? I'm like, no, we're not open to the public, basically. So, they don't know, and they don't need to know. So.
Cool. So I've got one final question for you, Keith. Okay. So, and it's about your course, because seriously, I know you put a lot of dedicated time and effort into that. And you said you create a lot of videos, and you have a lot of, people in the Facebook group that help each other, I'm sure, right? Because you're building a community, right? My question is around that community. So how many people do you have in this community that have been doing this for a little while now that can offer, assistance to other people in that community?
There's only 20 some people in the community right now.
Awesome.
In the private group. So it's fairly new,
That's cool.
So,
it's a great time to get in, man. It's a great time to get in, seriously, because you know what? You're going to get so much, attention, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes when you get the, and when it gets, hey, you know what? I'm not saying when you get to 400 or 500 or 2,000, they're still going to get help. But, now is ground level, man. This is where you're going to get all the attention you need.
We have people that have drop shipped for years that do it full time. We have people in the wholesale realm, the FBA realm, the people that have never done it before, done any eBay selling or whatever. So we've got a good mix of, knowledge and people in there. So yeah, it's interesting.
Very cool.
Thanks very much, Keith, for joining. Seriously, it's great having someone like you on, because dropshipping's got this, it's dropshipping, but you really just brought it back to, it's not like what people are saying. It's actually a really good way to sell on eBay. eBay is a specifically good market to do that. And you're just so laid back, man. You're really chilled.
I try to be, man.
No, that's cool. It's really good. That's how we roll. So, We'll post all the notes from today's interview on our show notes page, which can be found at www.soyouwantasellonebay.com/show notes. Keith, before you leave us, how can people get into this world of yours? I mean, it's just so great. How do they join up with you? Where are you at?
I would say go to the All Out E-commerce Facebook group. Just search All Out E-commerce on Facebook, and you can find our group or you can find our Facebook fan page. That's probably
brilliant.
The best way.
Okay, and we'll post all the notes in the show notes page. Just make sure you check out over there. We've also got a great resources page. We've selected and collected all the links that previous guests have given us. We put them in there. Once again, if you want to go over and check out Keith's product, it's soyouwantasellonebay.com/easy drop. From everyone here at So You Want to Sell on eBay, I'm Ali Young.
And I'm Ron LeBeau.
That's all for this episode of So You Want to Sell on eBay. Be sure to check out our next episode or any past episodes by going online to soyouwantasellonebay.com. Also, be sure to follow us on your favorite social media sites, facebook.com/So You Want to Sell on eBay, and Twitter @Your eBay Podcast. Thanks for listening. And until next time, happy selling.
Have an idea for a topic or know someone who would like to be on the show? Let us know. Just go to www.soyouwantasellonebay.com/interview. We look forward to hearing from you. This podcast was produced in part by Pro Voice Works.